Hi, welcome into the 5A Boys State Basketball Tournament Preview Show here on IdahoSports.com. We know you're out there watching. Give us, give it a like, give us a follow, give it a share, whatever medium you're on, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Give it a like. Give it a like. When I asked for it last time, we only got 6. Come on, not good enough. So welcome into the 5A. We just got done with the 6A, and this one's going to be fun. We've got Scott Burton coming on. His broadcast partner is going to be Clay Hatfield. He had other obligations tonight. He's a janitor down at the Y, so that's where he's at. So,
yeah, you barely caught me because I was out practicing free throws, trying to up that percentage.
I think it's, but when you were younger, you were quite the athlete.
I played.
Why don't you give a bio of who you are, how long you've been with us?
Okay. I'm the right now I am the athletic director at Jerome High School, and also broadcasting for you, and been doing that for 12, 13 years, somewhere in there. Even wrote you a very nice letter addressed to Mr. Kingsbury.
I thought you weren't coming on.
Who said that?
I don't know.
You've been misinformed, my friend.
Scott, keep going. Sorry, we interrupted you. My bad.
Yeah. Do you even care what I'm going to say now?
Not really. Clay, why don't you? No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so been doing that forever. Was actually got started as a news anchor and had a sports show back in the 90s. And that's kind of how I got into broadcast media, and luckily was coaching basketball when I heard my very first Idaho sports game and said, I want to do that. And so I wrote you a nice letter and called you Mr. Kingsbury.
You did, and I kept it. I've got it.
I know. And every year on kind of the work anniversary, if you will, you tend to send that to me just to remind me that I once did call you one time Mr. Kingsbury.
Now, one thing that you left out of your bio, Scott, was you were Mr. June at Jerome High School.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. They had a calendar, I believe, back at Jerome, and I think you were June. I'm not sure if this is you or Chachi.
Yeah, hence the nickname. Yeah. I thought I destroyed every one of those copies.
Oh, no. In fact, I've actually had this printed and framed, actually. And
my gosh.
Like 4 years ago, I had it in the background of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You did. We did a show, and you had it just kind of hanging out in the back.
Oh, the comments lighting up. The ladies want to see it again. Okay, there you go, ladies. There you go, ladies.
Oh, my hell. Yeah.
So that's Scott Burton. Clay is going to be broadcasting the 5A tournament. He is not the eye candy of the duo. Big difference. Handsome man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Clay. What do you do, and how long you been with us?
I teach at Ridgeview High School. I teach Spanish. I've been there for my 3rd year now, but my 22nd year in education. And I've been with Idaho Sports, I think, for maybe 1 year more than Scott. Got involved with our Paul and I's mutual love of soccer is how I got involved.
Right. And mutual, for someone to do it. I didn't have a clue. Yeah.
It didn't show. It didn't show at all. You were professional.
I probably said 1-0, which is, should have been 0, right? I learned that.
See, but you're learning, and that's the important thing.
I am learning. The one thing I like about working with Clay, if there's any kind of Spanish heritage name, he teaches Spanish. He's fluent, and so he rolls the R's, Rodriguez, and he makes sure they're all pronounced correctly. Great.
Yeah, just to show off a little bit.
Yeah, all right, I can't do that. I can't. I have to read all the names at graduation, and I cannot do that. I sound like I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. So
you don't have some Jerome. It's Jerome. There's not like there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there can't be that many.
A couple.
Okay.
Yeah, we're plentiful. And
so let's take a look at the bracket. What do you say?
Please.
Let's do it.
The bracket. That is not the bracket. Let's take a look at your bracket.
There we go.
So
that looks familiar.
At Rocky Mountain, then you're going to cross Fort Idaho Center on Friday afternoon. We got Hillcrest, Columbia, 3-6, 2-7, Lewiston, and Twin Falls. Number 1, Preston versus Jerome, 8-4, 4 Middleton, and 5 Bonneville. What's something that stands out to you about this bracket? Just jumps out at you.
Who's going to beat Preston? It's their tournament to lose. I think there's some great matchups along the way, but who's going to take down Preston is the only thing I see on that bracket.
So you think this is like 6A, where it's a Waihe's championship, everybody's playing for second?
Yes. I'm not saying that they can't do it, because 2 weeks ago at the girls' state tournament, we thought Middleton was going to walk away with it all, and Pocatello upset them. So anything can happen, and as we get to breaking these teams down, you'll find kind of where maybe that could happen. But I mean, realistically, it is Preston's to lose, and everybody's going to agree with you. Not saying that somebody can't beat them, but that's where we're at.
Well, Clay, do you agree with him?
I'm going out on a limb.
Whoa!
I think Middleton could play upset. I like that. If the matchups, if Preston gets past Jerome, if Middleton can beat Bonneville, that semifinal game, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think Middleton might be able to pull off the upset there.
Well, I don't know. I think they could. Take a look at this Preston team for starters. I mean, this is a team that is 22-1. Their only loss was a 1-point overtime loss to Timberline, and of their 21 wins, only 2 of them were in the single digits. I mean, this is a team that is dominated. However, if you're going to look at Preston, the one thing that might be a weakness is they don't play many dudes. They play about 5.5 guys, and that's it. And so when they get in foul trouble or somebody gets injured or whatever, it could be a problem.
How do they get that half guy in there? I'm just curious.
It's just the left side that goes in because he's left-handed.
He's left-handed, of course.
Short really counts as half? Is that what
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, 4 feet tall. So
Scott,
but that's
Gary's also chiming in from the green room. No, that's not Scott. And he spelled Bayo, which concerns me just a little bit. He's that big of a.
So,
guys, let's talk about these teams. Let's talk about it. We talked about a couple already, but let's go to that first matchup. Hillcrest.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about that matchup first. I mean, Hillcrest coming out number 1 over there. Very good team. Obviously, last year, very good team. And Columbia making an appearance at state again. So what do you think about these matchups, guys? Let's go top to bottom.
Well, first of all, this is a matchup of experience versus youth. Hillcrest, I really like this Hillcrest team. They're they like to push. They're up tempo. Titan Larson is their go-to guy, 3rd-year starter. He's already played in 2 state championship games already. And so this is a guy that can really get the job done. I mean, he set a school record this year with 44 points in a game, and that included 11 threes. And so they've got some players. And if you remember their football team and quarterback Tyson Sweetwood, he is big and athletic and fast, and he is going to cause some problems. And he's a monster on the glass. I mean, he had a 21 rebound game this season. And this is a really good Hillcrest team because they've been there before. But their formula remains the same, even under, first-year head coach Matt Barber with Hillcrest. It's like they push, they look to get the ball in the paint. And if you can score in the paint, then you have a lot of success at a state tournament. Columbia, on the other hand, they're long and athletic. They have no true post. So I'm interested to see how they're going to handle the paint there, but they're young. They start three sophomores and a freshman, and Blake Hansen's a really good player for them, averaging about 18 points and 11 boards a game. But it's the youth versus the experience for me.
And it's the size too.
The size too, absolutely.
Problem. Yeah. But if Columbia has something going for them, they're coming in hot. They're coming in high. I mean, they weren't expected to be, I think they were picked 5th in the conference this year and upset Bishop Kelly to make it to the tournament. So they're coming in playing solid basketball. And with a team like that, you never know. I mean, if they show up and everything's right, they could pull off this upset.
It's all about peaking at the right time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll see a couple of teams that are in this tournament that nobody expected to be there. And
okay, what about the second game? 2 o'clock start. Lewiston Twin Falls. What do you got?
Go ahead, Clay. You can start on this one.
Well, this is one of those teams that surprised me, Lewiston. I know they have some experience, but I was surprised that they had the season that they had. And this for me could be one of my upset matches. Lewiston comes in. This is the first time at state in almost a decade. Twin Falls has some experience. They've been there. They know how to play the game. They know what state's about. This could be an interesting matchup for me.
I agree 100%. I think, Lewiston coming in with a record of 20-4, they've got some really good players. I mean, Royce Fisher is their main guy. They've got the Hepburn kid and the Bogart kid. I mean, they're all really good, but one of the things that you always have to worry about is their strength of schedule, and that has been everybody I've talked to has brought that up with Lewiston. Now, maybe that's not their fault, but you just play who you got. Maybe there's some validity to that. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Meanwhile, Twin Falls, that's a team that's dangerous. And I think they are better than a 7. And this is a team that can beat anyone just because they've got a lot of guys that can score. They've got a big in Trey Billings who's 6'5" and averages 15 a game. Ty Hess, he's another one. He can score from anywhere. And then Riker Rex, they've got 3 guys that average double figures. Who do you stop? They're a tough matchup. And if they're on, they are a team that can upset anybody. So I'm really interested in this game as well.
And they talked about it. The guys talked about it at the 6A level. It's hard to gauge these North Idaho teams based on what Scott just talked about, their schedule. It's hard to look at and see, those 20 wins, who were they against? And that always makes it tricky. But you have Twin Falls, they've been at this tournament. They know what it is. And you mentioned Ty Hess, if he's going to carry this team, and if he's on, that could be a big upset here in that first opening round.
Absolutely right. Let's go to game 3, guys. And Preston and Jerome. And Jerome, Scott, I understand you're the athletic director there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't want to piss anybody off.
I do that on the daily, however.
So we talked about Preston already a lot, but let's just go over these 2 teams real quick.
Okay. So I've already talked about Preston, how strong they are. It is their tournament to lose. They come in the number 1 seed, the overwhelming number 1 seed. And, and that's no disrespect to some of these other teams that are really, really good. But, when you have the LA Lakers in your bracket, it's a tough task, right? Meanwhile, Jerome, on the other hand, this was a team that, you want to talk, like you said, Clay, about coming in hot. This is a team that's not supposed to be there. This is a team that entered the district tournament as the number 4 seed and then got, by Mountain Home, got clobbered by Twin. And then they have to go on the road and beat Burley, a team that beat them twice during the regular season. And then they have to go on the road to the number 2 seed Minico and beat them in overtime, and Minico had beaten them twice in the regular season. So this is a team that is coming into their own. They are just the best group of kids you could ask for. They don't have any stars. They've got one guy that averages 11 points. That's A.J. Johnson, and he's their go-to offensive guy. But they're the academic state champs. They're good kids, and they have overcome a ton to get there. They lost Trey Burke, their number 1 player, 3rd game of the season, have been dealing with that. One of their other top kids didn't come out. And so they just had to figure out a way to do it. And, when you got Coach Messick on your bench, he is, in my opinion, the best basketball coach in the state of Idaho. You're always going to have a chance,
I've been around for 18 years. He knows how this game's played.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. So this is a team that, why not us, right?
Yeah.
That's been their mantra all year. So it's going to be a tough one for them. I mean, let's be real. But you're going to get a heck of an effort from them, I'll tell you that.
And I know that looking at the that 4-5 matchup, Middleton Bonneville, they're hoping that Jerome can give Preston a game and wear those 5 guys out for that second round matchup. And so if you're Middleton or Bonneville looking at that game, you're hoping Jerome can really put up a fight and make Preston work.
Yeah, and I think if there's anything, a chink in the armor, it's the depth, But Preston, I mean, they have got some studs. I mean, Jack Schumann, their point guard, an awesome defender. I mean, he's kind of the tone setter of that group. Reggie Larson, looks to score every time he touches the ball, and he can do it. And then, Cruz Harris, physical post at 6'4", that's going to cause some problems because Jerome doesn't have size. So they're going to have to be kind of post defense by committee, but then you better rebound the basketball. So
right.
Preston's a tough matchup.
Yeah, and I think Preston's going to come in playing mad too. They've missed the last couple of years of state because their conference only gets that one bid, and it's went to Pocatello. And so I think Preston has something to prove. Not only that they're the number one team, but they are the team in this bracket.
Yep, that's a very unfortunate conference. I mean, almost every year you get. Well, I remember some years in the top 5, all 3 of the teams were in the top 5, and only one comes out. So Dan Hubbard says, "I'll be interested to see a possible Preston-Middleton matchup," which absolutely could happen. So, all right, guys, let's look at our players to watch.
You want to go to that final game?
Yeah, you want to look at the last one just for fun?
We did.
No,
we guys just
I did.
Bonneville.
We jumped straight to it. Talk to it without me introducing it, but talk about it anyway.
Yeah, we would like to.
Yes. What, do you want to go first, Blake? Go ahead.
Somewhere he spiked my mountain.
I'm excited of the first games of day one. This is the one I'm looking most forward to. I think this is going to be a fantastic ball game. Middleton is a solid team. They don't get the fanfare that Preston has, but I think they can hang with Preston if that's the matchup that we see. And Bonneville's one of those teams. Don't go to sleep on them. They could pop up there and give Middleton a fight.
Yeah, this Middleton team is kind of one people are looking at as maybe somebody that could push Preston, or at least not keep it close or whatever. But this is a team that is really playing good basketball. They lost 5 of their first 6 games to start the year, and then went 16-2 afterwards. And this is a team with some size. Yeah. And anytime you've got some height, you can battle. And that's why I'm interested to see what this Middleton team can do. But they're going to have to get by Bonneville first. Yeah. And Bonneville, I love Bonneville's story because Bonneville is under head coach Coach Hengel. This is a team that has 8 seniors who have had 3 different varsity coaches in their career with different philosophies, different cultures. And this was a program that just needed to be redone, rebuilt, have some rejuvenation and success. 3 years ago, this team was 2-21. 2 years ago, they were 4-19. Last year, they were 5-19. And here they are 15-10 and at the state tournament. So they are going in the right direction in a really interesting, story. And Dallin Jardine, great point guard, can distribute and score. Tyler Jordan, great 3-point shooter. He had a game this year, I believe he had 33 points and 9 threes. So I like the story of Bonneville. They're trending in the right direction.
And that great team in the back way too. I mean, they didn't get an easy win. They played 4 games, I think, and end up having to beat Blackfoot, the number 2 team, to make it. Sorry, Clay, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, talking about Middleton's losses early on the season, those were to 6A teams too.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So they front loaded their schedule big. So those losses that they had are misleading because they're playing against those big teams.
Oh, of course, absolutely. So this is a really good Middleton team, and I don't know. There's a couple of teams there that I think you keep your eye on. Middleton is definitely one, but I do like some of these matchups. It's gonna be fun.
Do I have your permission to go on to the players to watch?
You may continue.
Thank you, sir. Here we go. 5A players to watch. Ryan Egbert of Bonneville, Blake Hansen, Columbia, Titan Larson of Hillcrest, AJ Johnson, Jerome, Ty Cornwall of Middleton, Cruz Harris of Preston, Ty Hess of Twin Falls. These are the players to watch in each one of the games, according to you guys. First off, Clay, which one are you most excited to watch play?
I'm excited to see Ty Hess play in that opening game, just because I think that could be our upset. If he comes out and has himself a ball game, we could see a number 7 knock off a number 2.
Scott, who are you most excited to see?
I agree. That's going to be one that I'm keeping an eye on. But I want to see Titan Larson again. I mean, I've been covering Hillcrest forever, it seems, and I just want to see the experience and see what that does. This is his third time at the state tournament, and there's something to be said about that. And I'm a fan of kind of watching them grow and play, and he's a guy that I've watched, and I want to see him play again.
Well, guys, we talked about some of these players, but these are the players to watch. Let's just talk about kind of each one if you've got some stuff there. So Ryan Egbert of Bonneville, talk to me about him a little bit and just kind of go down the list. Scott, why don't you start?
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to Bonneville, they're really kind of a group of kids that they've got a bunch of different leaders. It's I don't want to say they have a star, but they do have guys that kind of get the motor going, and Egbert's one of those guys. And if they get punched in the mouth by Middleton early, he's going to be the guy that's going to have to get him up and get him going again.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I see, and that's kind of what I talked about with them trending in the right direction. So, and then go ahead, Clay.
With Blake Hansen from Columbia, he's their senior, he's their leader. He's going to have to be the guy that comes out and really gets this young team under control from the get-go in their game if they want to stick around and be able to hang and play. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles that burden of leadership in a program that hasn't had, I don't want to say hasn't had many expectations, but the expectations haven't been there for them to be successful in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, is that a Jamestown Jimmy's hat behind you? No, it is not, Tyler, Mr. Belknap. Tyler was a broadcaster for us for many, many years back in the day. As well as Sven, he's picking Jerome.
For the game or the hat?
I think it's the hat.
Oh, they're talking to each other. Got it. Sven also, he started way back in the day as well. Ended up marrying my niece. He's family now.
Uh-oh, you got a Yulin caught. Come on, Kingsbury.
Yeah, he calls the games up there. Do we not have any?
Oh, you better go back and look at that. And negative.
You don't have a Lewiston player. Oh.
Uh-oh.
This is put together by Paul Kingsbury, by the way.
Not to throw the guy who's not here under the bus.
Okay, I'll put one on there for you. For Lewiston, Royce Fisher.
Okay.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I'm just going to say, I mean, he's their leader. He's their main scorer. And obviously he's going to have to bring it. But Hepburn and Bogar, they're going to have to help him out. But it's going to start with Fisher.
Absolutely. And Bogar's going to have a big game too. He'll have to have a solid game for Lewiston to succeed.
All right. So are we on Titan or where are we at? I got
we're on Titan. Already talked about him.
Yeah.
Just a solid player, so much experience, and he's going to be the guy that's driving the bus for Hillcrest. And then let me take AJ just because I know him. And
we're going to take our lumps real quick. We're going to take our lumps. Not having a kid loose on the list is wild, guys. And of course, Ryan, the North gets the Rodney Dangerfield treatment again. Yes.
Wow. And Clay and I are going to get blamed for it, and we didn't do it.
We'll make up for it.
Yeah. So I counted. I just copied. I was doing all of them, and I just copy and pasted what I was sent. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, doesn't matter.
Here we go.
So AJ is just one of those great kids that can slash to the basket. He can shoot from the outside. Lanky. He gets in there, mixes it up, works hard. He's just one of those guys that you love to watch play and coach. And he's going to have to come up big for Jerome because Jerome's going to have a hard time scoring at times, but he's going to have to get his. And if Jerome's going to be successful and hang around. So that's him. So go ahead and take Ty Cornwall.
Okay. Ty is one of the most talented guys on that Middleton team. He's getting looked at by Boise State. So really you could say it might be a stretch, but you could say he's a Pac-10 caliber player or Pac-12 caliber player, whatever the Pac-12 exists right now. But he's a solid all-around player. And it's going to be fun to watch him play in that game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then Cruz is, again, he is the physical post inside. He's gonna try to bump and draw contact, and I mean, he is just a physical presence in the paint for Preston, and it's tough to stop that. That's why you need size at a state tournament. And you look at the teams that have won it in the past, almost all of them, and all that I can remember, they had a post, because you need to score at the rim. And this is what Cruz Harris is going to do for Preston.
All right. Last but not least, just alphabetical, Ty Hess.
Yeah, we talked about Ty. If he's been a solid player for Twin Falls, and if he has a good game, I like Twin in that 2-7 upset.
Okay. Cedric's Music, Bonneville is going to be dangerous. Hot team peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Talked about that. Up north, just to clarify, Camden, who put it together, lives in Hayden, just outside of Coeur d'Alene. So a north guy left out.
Idaho guy.
Just to pull that out.
Ironic.
So those are all the teams. Those are the players to watch for the 5A Boys State Tournament. Once again, this is Scott Burton, Mr. June of Jerome, 1980. I don't know.
That was 1980. That was 88.
Joni loves Chachi. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
All I can say. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Stay tuned. The 4A Boys State Tournament preview show is coming up next right here on IdahoSports.com.